welcome to my Let's Play / stream of Star Trek Online. This with my KDF player. This is part 29 of that particular series. You can check out the other 28 in the description below in the playlist. But however, this is Cold Comfort. We're carrying on the Breen invasion of Deferi. Wondering out what exactly they're up to. And exactly is under Breen's helmet. But no. Maybe they're like our school. We'll find out. So I'm just gonna do my mission about, and then we'll get this mission underway. Of course, this is it's a held mission, so it's generally done at level 65. And you're way into the game before you actually do this, but we have the opportunity to do it earlier than usual. So how I will do the E missions as they are, I will do the Lost Dominion one after we do Romulus. After we do the Romulus story arc. Yeah, so we'll do Lost Dominion after that before we do, and then after the Sononade sphere we'll do Spectres, and that will be all of them except for the mission that is on Kabali Prime. We'll do that when we get to Kabali Prime. That's in the Delta Quadrant missions. Way in the future. Anyway, let's pick up the missions. We have to speak with Ambassador Zaria. So because we've done those missions, we have daily missions now in the Deferi System. So there they are. So if you want to get them, you just come and do the missions, and then you get to redo them. So we're doing Cold Comfort. We are receiving a distress signal from the Raveh System. A Deferi Transport weathered a Breen attack, but they have taken heavy casualties and are requesting immediate assistance. My people do not have military ships to hire, Master, and I loathe to send a lightly armoured rescue vessel in such a dangerous situation. Please, you must do whatever you can to help them. So we need to go into the Raveh System. Now the benefit of the missions in the Cold War story arc is that we're all pretty much quite close together, which is a benefit for us. These were once featured episodes back in the day, and they were once part of the missions. This was originally directly after the Borg missions. So we're travelling to Raveh 2. These videos were directly after they were fitted within the Borg Advanced story arc. Lost Dominion was part of the Cardassian struggle, and Spectres was part of the Klingon war, which was Vigilance, I think, in the Klingon side. On our side here, Federation side it was Klingon war. This side it was Vigilance, and then they moved it all out. Of course, they're going to be updating the Klingons over the next year, and any additional changes that they make, I will redo the episodes. I'll just like it, do like a remastered version, so we'll get to see what they look like. Captain, we're being held by the disabled Deferi frigate. Putting it on screen now. Thank you for responding to our distress call. We were boarded by the Breen and have taken severe casualties. We could use any medical aid you could render. Please approach and beam over to us as soon as you can. These missions could really do with a touch up, I think. Maybe they're going to touch them up and put them back in where they were. Of course I'm not. I'm not a dev. Tie up to them. Nice looking planet. So we'll talk to the frigate. Please beam over any medical supplies and personnel you can spare. We'll send your transporter chief the coordinates of our trauma centre. Right. So despite being a tactical officer, we're going to be doing some medical stuff. Science. Well, if they got the right species for it, Klingons probably just end up killing you because they see the injured as obviously killing them as helping them on their way, the Klingon way. Wait, you. By the balance, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. I need every available person to help with the patients. I think the Breen take pleasure in causing pain. Few of our crew were killed and many have been injured. If you want to help, I need someone on table 7. Take the patient's medical history and triage the injury. If it has a minor issue, go ahead and treat him so we can make room for another patient. Right, so the injured Deferi at table 7. Now, I've got a walkthrough here, so you can use this as a walkthrough. Let's have a look. So it says, let's scan him. Please, it hurts, help me. Right, so we're going to ask him what hurts. It's my left side. I took a disruptor hit with my Breen rifle. Please, I need something for the pain. Do you have anything that will help? Right, and then open up a new dialogue, which is treatment for disruptor. There are several medications available from the Deferi med kits that we can use to treat this patient's pain. Anazolefin, bicarbonate, hydrochloroquine, methopan, and methopentholone are all indicated for pain relief. Once the patient is stable, we can treat the disruptor hit directly with the photophaser, which should fix the damage done to the cellular structure. Why are you here, frack? Oh, we've got to ask him if he has any allergies. Sorry. Do you have any allergies? I'm highly allergic to methopan. Yeah, I was given it once and my airway swelled until it was completely blocked. I almost died. Are you taking any medication currently? No. Do I look like I should be? Alright. Chill. Have you been here for anything related to this issue? How often do you think I'm getting shot at by a Breen? The last time I saw a physician was 2 years ago. I was treated for poly water intoxication. You're an arse, ain't you? When was the last time you ate? Midday, I guess. What does this have to do with anything? Why haven't you given me something for the pain yet? What were you doing before you were injured? I was repairing a power conduit on deck 2 when the Breen came out for engineer and shot me. They didn't even give me a chance to surrender. I wouldn't have fought them. Okay. So we now can go to the med kit. Now we go to the med kit and analgesics, and we're going to use the one we need is bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is indicated for decreasing pain associated with serious trauma injuries. Treatment for with bicarbonate has been known to cause addictive behaviour in patients that have been treated with the drug for long periods of time. Methadone is a non-addictive substitute that is preferred for most cases of serious trauma. The pain of the disrupted wound is subsiding. That means that feels much better, thank you. The bicarbonate is having the desired effect, Captain. Now we need to use a photo laser. There's a P there, isn't there? On the wound to treat without causing undue pain in the patient. Right, you're cured. Now can I eat him? Okay, doctor, I'm done. Good work with that last patient. Has anyone ever told you that you have a talent for medicine? No. I can barely pronounce the bloody medical terms and treatments. I need someone to check out the patient on table 3. I would appreciate any help you can give us. Can't just shoot him. Let's talk to the table 3 injured person. Injured Deferi on table 3. Mother, is that you? What hurts? An older boy named Tosca used to take my favourite toys when I brought them to school. If I tried to fight him, to get them back, he'll break the toys so that no one could play with them. My mother said Tosca was out of balance. Do you have any allergies? I hated the taste of my mother's stew when I was young. She tried to convince me it tasted like spring, but I thought it tasted like bugs. Are you taking any medications? I used to play in the mud every time it rained. My mother thought I would get sick from playing outside in the cold and the damp, but I never got sick, not even once. Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? I loved it when my mother would sweep me up in her arms and hug me tight. She smelled like love and cooking herbs. When was the last time you ate? I used to pick berries with my sister on the hills overlooking the farm when we grew up. They were tart. Really? They were tart. So my mother would sprinkle granulated cave honey on them. Okie dokie. What were you doing when you got injured? My father would used to sing rhymes to me when I was a child. I would fall asleep in his arms and then I'd have the best dreams. I think he's concussed. The patient seems disorientated and unaware of their surroundings. I agree, Captain. There are symptoms of brain trauma, but we cannot rule out the psychological breakdown until we have a mental status check. The stress of the brain attack could have been more than the patient's mind could process. Okay. Do you know your name? My sister had a doll she used to call, like, Ica. Do you know where you are? Can we have a dessert now? I finished all my vegetables. Do you know approximately what time it is? I loved catching umic insects at twilight. That light from the descending sun would make their wings glow like golden fire. Do you know what year it is? My sister is 3 years older than I am. That meant my mum let her do all the fun things while I had to sit and watch. Alter mental states. There's something seriously wrong with this patient's mental status. I recommend that we scan the brain tissue for deep trauma. Oh, God's sake, a hyper-cleanser fluorogram should reveal if there's any damage. Fuck you, frack. Captain, it appears there's a cortical implant in this patient's brain that's causing the disorientation and delusions. There's an extremely high amount of neural activity in the area around the implant. Perhaps if we were able to decrease the activity with an anesthetic, the patient would be more responsive. How about you get over here and you do it? You're my bloody medical officer, you. Okay. Anethicene. Anethicene is an anesthetic used for calming the hyperactive nerve impulses. Use of anethicene has been known to interfere with cranial implants by decreasing their effectiveness. Where am I? I remember the Breen attack. There was this medic. He seemed sad. The Breen implanted me with a cortical implant and had been forcing me to relive memories from my past. Please help me get it out of my head. I do not want to live like this. The anethicene worked, Captain. Removing the cortical implant is a tricky process. We should confer with Dr. Corsa about how to proceed. Cut his head off. No? I'm not familiar with any technology like this. Any attempt I'll make to removing it will be based upon an educated guess. We have some captured Breen in the brig waiting for transport in the holding facility. Perhaps you could question them. One of the monsters who did this to my patient might know how to reverse this process. I suggest just cutting his head off. You can move it that way. You can sew his head back on, can't you? No? That's what a Klingon would do. Right. Then they really did a number on this place, didn't they? So there are a few things you should know about the Breen before we talk to them. The Breen are a warrior race. They do what is expedient and will often take prisoners rather than kill them. You can get more work out of a slave than a dead man after all. I spit upon their expediency, but the Breen is only logical. They survive and they do not live like we do. Strangely though, reports from the interrogations of Breen prisoners revealed that Breen have a strong sense of personal honour and are troublesome when honour is insulted. If you want to get more information out of them, I suggest that you do not insult them or suggest that they kill whatever without cause. Okay. Hey, you. Leave me alone. I do not want to speak with animals. What is your name? Look at you, cowering in the shadow of Thot Trel. What hope could the Deferi possibly have in a might like this? I will not answer your questions. Go bother someone else. Tell me about Thot Trel. Thot Trel has more power and vision than a pathetic being like yourself can possibly comprehend. The Deferi will be the first to fall to his might, but we will not be the last. It will not stop until the entire Alpha Quadrant serves the Breen Confederacy. Someday I will stand on the blasted remains of your homeworld and celebrate our victory. I will grind the remains of your leaders into dust under my boot heels. Thot Trel will be the one who will make this possible. You're quite full of yourself, aren't you? Tiny man. You talk big from the other side of a cell. You let him out and I'll kill him. Torture me if you wish. I will never betray the Breen Confederacy. What is your name? Okay. Are you here to let me go? What is your name? I am Tran. Ask your questions, warrior. Right, we've got to say, what are you doing here? I am a combat medic in the 5th Order. I serve the Breen Confederacy. I was ordered to go into this system by my superiors. I am sure that you have encountered other Breen in the Deferi sector. Yeah, I've killed a few of them actually. What are you doing here? I am currently incarcerated in a Deferi brig. I was captured near the bridge when my boarding party was overwhelmed by the Deferi security teams. While this ship may not be carrying military personnel, a 3-man boarding party stands little chance against 4 well-armed security teams defending their ship and their captain. We gave away the terrain advantage and now we are paying the price. You must know this wasn't a military ship. Why did you attack it? I do not feel comfortable continuing this conversation. My commanding officer is in a nearby cell and can overhear everything we are saying. While I do not agree with his actions on this matter, I respect his position of authority. I will not throw his dishonour in his face. Right, prevent the arrogant prick from listening to us. Audio signals entering and leaving this cell has been blocked by an acoustic dampening field. Good. Jackass. I do not feel comfortable continuing our conversation. My command officer, your command officer cannot hear what we are saying. My superior thought that these Deferi civilians might have information for which we are been searching. While I might have disagreed with his choice of target, it is not a soldier's place to question his commanding officer. I think my dissension was the reason for this was I was selected to join the assault on the ship bridge. A dangerous task for on the best of circumstances and one of the least chances of success. Did you object to your commanding officer about this assignment? I'm not sure how do you run things in the Klingon Empire, but in the Breen Confederacy we obey our commanders. I may not always be pleased at what I am ordered to do, but I understand that there is a goal that must be achieved and that I may not have all the facts that my superiors do. Do you believe that the goal you're attempting to achieve was worth killing civilians? I did not want to attack this ship. There is no nobility in being a soldier. There is a nobility in being a soldier. When I enter battle, I know I could be killed. I know that the others will die in my hands. But that is what I must do. It is part of being a soldier. Civilians are not part of this unspoken agreement. They do not wake up in each day and know that their hearts could be in their hearts it could be their last. It should be out of the bonds as targets for people like you and me. There is no honour in fighting someone who is unprepared to fight back. I regret that I had orders to kill these civilians. More than that, I regret that I carried out these orders. Right, what were your orders? I'm a combat medic. Normally my task is to repair injuries of my fellow soldiers. On this mission I was tasked with capturing civilians alive and fitting them with subspace cortical implants. These devices are barbaric, even now by our standards. We use them to obtain memories from the most obstinate of interrogation subjects. This particular implant had a subspace relay intended to capture and transmit those memories so that my superiors could sift through the secrets locked in our victims' minds, even as we moved on to implant more such subjects. Why did you do this? What information did the Deferi have that you needed so badly? I'm not sure what exactly the commanders wanted to learn from these people. I can only guess that my superiors wanted information about that they felt they could have held by any members of the Deferi population. The cortical implants were calibrated to use long-term memories as to the surface, even going back to the target's childhood. Perhaps they wanted to learn something that even a Deferi child might know. Would the probe Deferi know the memories were being searched? Perhaps. If they had the mental fortitude to recall the memories that they were triggered during their interrogation, the pain from the implants could be quite intense. How do we remove the implant? Removal of the cortical implant is a very delicate procedure. The implants are intended to be strong enough to survive the interrogation process, but too difficult to be removed by the subject or anyone else. I have worked with these implants for some time. Have your doctors talk to me and I'll tell them what they need to do to remove them. Well, shit. You killed us, you alleged ass. Dr. Corsa, I've done your pissing work for you, you lazy git. This is the information we needed. I'll round up a surgical team and we'll begin the process of removing the implant immediately. I spent some time talking to the patient while you were in the brig. It sounded like me that the Breen implant was triggered memories from the patient's early childhood, many of them involving rhymes and songs. Rhymes and songs? Most Deferi parents and grandparents sing to their children and tell them the stories of our past and our traditions. A common theme is the preservers. We sing their travels through the universe, their efforts to maintain the balance and the great archive. My children are particularly fond of the songs about the Preserver Archive, a hidden place where they left all their technology and records of the ancient days. It is an interesting story, but I don't know if a place like that could actually exist. After all, we're talking about children's rhymes. Captain, the Breen must believe the Preserver Archives exist. There's no explanation as to why they would target the Deferi civilians in August to obtain information about nursery rhymes. Before we leave, Tran has requested to talk to you again. He's waiting in his cell. Thank you for returning. I know that helping you was an honourable thing to do, but because I did, I can never return to the Breen Confederacy. Therefore, I would like to request asylum from the Klingon Empire. I, however, am not alone in this request. There is a small group of Breen that share my feelings. We know that anyone who could attack innocents cannot rightfully call themselves a warrior. If you accept us, we would like to join you. I will give you the information necessary to contact them. It may take some time before they are willing to respond. Your future actions will help speed up that process. We have sent the communication based on Trel's information. I can't be sure that it will be received. That it was received. So at this point, I believe the only thing we can do is wait for a response. Who could have imagined that they would be Breen capable of honour? I would not believe it if I had heard the story second hand. The Deferi now are in control of the situation. Are you ready to leave the system? Server's not responding. Well, crap. Well, you get to see all my characters. Hello, all my characters. Our Ambassador Sorrel from the Deferi sector to report. I remember the stories about the preservers from my childhood, and of course we have ruins linked to them on Deferi. But I have never heard of an intact preserver installation. The Breen, however, are taking these stories quite seriously, and if the Breen managed to acquire the preserver level technology, they would shift the balance of power in the entire Alpha Quadrant. It's lucky that you were able to establish a connection with Tren. I believe he was sent by the powers to help maintain the balance in the galaxy, and I am grateful. He was surgically installing implants in your own people. If he was sent to bloody bring balance, I know your intelligence service has more questions for him, but after that, I promise I'll do whatever fuck's sake. I promise I'll do whatever I can to see that he and the other Breen who disagree with their government's actions are not forgotten. One of your commanding officers has requested to speak with you. You should consider meeting them when you're done here. Rapid fire transphagic torpedo. Oh, great.
Congratulations, General.
Did you say one of the leaders? No, not like one of the leaders. He's calling me. No? So next mission will be cold case then. You must return to Deferi immediately. The Breen are searching for the preserver technology, and they are once again targeting the ruins near our city. I fear that there's more people will die, and each death the balance shifts, and these attacks we need to stop. We are depending on you. Stop the Breen and keep the secrets of the preservers safe from their treachery. So we'll do that, and I'll go and learn how to read English, and that will be in part 30. So until then, Kopla and ciao. Goddamn medical things.